Welcome, data people. We are Zuma. My name is Matt, and this is Data for Good. This podcast is brought to you by Zuma. Zuma is a dedicated recruitment company for senior data, insights, and analytics professionals, connecting you with Berlin's most influential companies. The Data for Good podcast is for the world of data analytics and engineering, giving you access to the thoughts and opinions of Berlin's most successful data people. Today, we are joined by Konstantinos Kattidis, team lead of performance and analytics at Zalando. So we're looking forward to this one. It's going to be a great episode. Konstantinos will inform us about roadmaps, balance, and collaboration. Konstantinos, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Matt. Hi. Thanks a lot, first of all, for inviting me to the podcast. I'm really looking forward for a very interesting conversation. Because I think this topic is very relevant now, especially with us moving towards the end of the year, is becoming highly relevant.
Definitely. So yeah, first few weeks back after the summer breaks, how has it been with the team?
It's been pretty well. So everyone got their vacation, their well-deserved vacation, I would say, myself as well. So we are back relaxed, let's say, and ready for new challenges. And this is where, as I mentioned, we are now looking ahead on the new year, the new challenges ahead, and planning for the next big things that we want to achieve going forward.
Definitely. I think a lot of companies are seeing the same. So after the summer break, priority planning and road maps are really a hot topic as we come to the close of the year, and certainly looking into the new year as well. So for yourself and the team, how do you go about deciding the priorities?
Yeah, so first of all, I will say that the prioritization depends heavily on the type of environment we are in. So we have, for example, analytics team, marketing team, product team. So that depends a lot because each environment is a bit different. So, for example, in my team, we focus on operational analytics, which is, I will say, a bit fast-paced environment. So it's very important to be able to adapt to the new requests, to the new challenges, to the new priorities, let's say. But something that we do in the team, first of all, is to develop an analytics roadmap. So first of all, what is analytics roadmap? It's basically an action plan which translates our data strategy to, as I mentioned, to the action plan. So based on the high-level business objectives and business strategy, we also have a data strategy and an analytics strategy that we want to achieve. And based on that, we design our roadmap. Usually, our roadmap looks 1 year ahead. And we design this by working very closely with all the different teams. So business teams and also tech teams, I would say. In general, analytics roadmap is basically showing the main projects that we'll be working on, and even the smaller tasks if are known for the rest of the year. Now, why is it important for an analytics team to have an analytics roadmap? I will say that it gives a clear direction for the analysts, for the analytics team on where they are heading, what are deliverables, and makes them understand also how their work links to the overall business strategy and the business value that we are delivering. Also, I will say that it makes us also understand the amount of requests that we have, the amount of projects, and also helps a lot with the capacity planning in the team. Let's say that, for example, we have a certain number of objectives for the year, and this is translated to 20 projects, let's say. Then it's important to see if we have enough people within the team to handle all these projects. If not, this will also result to additional recruiting, for example. So it sets also the foundation for hiring more people, I will say. Something else that I will say is very important, having analytics roadmap, is that it can also highlight any training areas. For example, let's say that we have projects that require a bit more advanced analytics. For example, we need to predict the number, the volume for the next month. So we need some forecasting capability or some other predictive capabilities. So if we identify that the level of team maturity is not there yet, so we can also plan training in advance to prepare for that. So having this analytics roadmap in place, it helps a lot also with the training plan for the team.
Amazing. So it sounds like business strategy comes first, and then we can then kind of build a roadmap and looking maybe 12 months into the future to set out this roadmap and work backwards from there and set out priorities for the near future. So maybe the few months ahead. Interesting that you speak about training. It sounds like that's quite a vital aspect to the roadmap. How do you decide on the training and how to support the analysts through the roadmap?
Yeah, so knowing the projects that are coming up, it gives also this flexibility and benefit for us to know what skills will be needed from the analytics team. So it can be a wide range of being able to develop reports, automated reports, dashboards, doing statistical analysis or other descriptive analytics, or even going a step further to data science and machine learning. So knowing in advance the projects, it gives us this benefit of taking the time to do trainings. So it can be there just a knowledge sharing session within the team if some people have this capability already, so they can share it with other members in the team, or it can be also an external training that can be planned in advance, maybe a one day training session or 2 days session.
Nice. So although there's quite a structured roadmap, how flexible or how often do the priorities change on a shorter term as opposed to the 12-month roadmap?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. So I will say when we plan the analytics roadmap for 1 year, it never stays the same. It's completely impossible. So that's why it's also very important to revise it. So in my opinion, we should never build the roadmap and leave it. So it should be like a live plan, live document. So it's good to revise it. So depending on the customer needs, on the business needs, I would say, and how often the business strategy changes and how often the business projects change, then we need to be able also to adapt the roadmap. So many times we can have also ad hoc meetings to revise the roadmap, or it can be also planned on a quarterly basis to review it. Not only to review if we are still having relevant projects in the roadmap, but also to review the progress that we have done, because it's also important to look back and recognize the achievements, if we are on track on delivering the roadmap. And also I think giving credits to the team is really important. So it keeps them also motivated to continue working on and delivering value for the business. Usually it's important, in my view, when we work on a project, to be involved a bit in advance in the project. So many times I will basically categorize the projects into purely business projects that are driven by the business stakeholders, and we are involved as a supporting function. And we have projects that are purely owned by us as an analytics team. So the first type of projects which are driven by the business, it's important for us to be involved a bit in advance, because we need to understand also the business objective. We need to understand if there are any areas in the business that we haven't explored yet. So we need also some time to understand the processes, the data behind it. So it's good always to be involved a bit earlier in the process. And also, even when the analytics work is done, it's still important to still monitor the project until completion, so the team can also see the benefits of their work at the end.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like the roadmap is there for direction. It's for purpose, and you know where you're heading, but to break it down, have milestones, reflect as you go through, it is just as important as the final goal. Perfect. So things change and can change very quickly. Quality, everyone wants quality. It's a big factor. There's got to be a bit of trade-off. There's got to be balance between speed and quality along this roadmap. The lessons that you've learned, the experiences that you've had, which have been more important at different times?
Yes, indeed, I completely agree. So balancing the speed and the quality, so, or otherwise the comprehensiveness of our analysis and our work. So it is very important, especially in an operational environment where when something happens, for example, even for ad hoc requests, if we find a KPI which is above target, then we should be able to quickly find the why. So what happens, and establish an action plan to get back on track. But on the other hand, we have the matter of comprehensiveness and quality. So we need to be fast, but also be able to give the right actions for the teams. So I would say in these cases, it's important for the team to be fully equipped, not only with technical skills, but also business acumen. So in general, I always encourage my team to really learn the business. So if we are working for e-commerce, then we should know the e-commerce processes, the different challenges in the market. So it's always important to be very close with the business stakeholders and talk to them quite frequently to understand their challenges, to learn their processes as well. So when this on the best analytical approach to solve the business problem. But besides the business knowledge, it's also important to know the data as well, of course. And knowing these three, so having the technical skills, having the business knowledge and the data knowledge, then this gives a lot of advantage to be able to deliver a high quality work at the right speed. I will also say that it's also depends on the type of request that we get. So if it's something which is really urgent and needs to be delivered really fast, then we can also sacrifice some of the quality. I'm not saying we should give any wrong indications, wrong data, of course, but we can provide the insights, just enough insights to give direction to the team and enable them to make the right decisions without really going into the depth and spending too much time on this topic.
Okay, so there's certain processes where you would use little snippets of data to give insights to direction and repurpose the team into a more structured and long-term project. Have I got that right?
Yes. I was mainly referring to the more ad hoc requests.
Right.
But of course, bigger projects, we always dedicate a bit more time to deliver what is needed, especially if our analytics roadmap is already in a good state and this is planned. So if the project is already in the roadmap, so it's of course we make sure that is delivered in the right quality.
Right, got you. And so yeah, sorry. So when you say ad hoc, how frequent are ad hoc requests coming into the team?
Yeah, I think that's a topic that we haven't touched, and I think it's a good point. So besides the analytics roadmap, we also have a lot of ad hoc requests that are coming in on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, and these are completely unplanned requests, and they are usually smaller. So it can be ranging from asking for data, simple data extracts, to answering some simple questions. So we always take a percentage of our time allocated to these ad hoc requests. So usually we want to focus more on the analytics roadmap. So I would say 60% of our time is allocated to the analytics roadmap, and then probably 30% allocated to this ad hoc request, so we can support the teams with the other needs they have, so they can also continue with their business as usual and other projects that are not part of the analytics roadmap. And usually we leave also some 10% on learning and development, or working on something more personal project that we have the team develop further.
Amazing. So the 30% on the ad hoc tasks, are they taken by the whole team, or do you assess the size of the request before dedicating that to certain analysts, or is it a whole team that attends to the ad hoc requests?
So usually the way that we work currently is that we have a prioritization meeting every Tuesday, and we go through these ad hoc requests with the business stakeholders. So we have a meeting where we meet with the business stakeholders and we discuss these ad hoc requests, and we prioritize based on the urgency, based on the business value, and also the effort that is needed to deliver the work. And usually in this meeting, we agree between all the stakeholders what is more important and what should be picked up this week or the next week. And even after that, we have also a refinement meeting internal within the team that we discuss who can pick it up, who has the capacity, and who is the right person, let's say, within the analytics team, and depending on their capabilities. And we also discuss the approach that can be followed. So within the team, we discuss the best practices, where we can find the data sources, and how we can go about it. So we can have a bit of brainstorming together before proceeding to do the analysis or the report.
So it sounds like you're looking at time capacity, so who can have the time to do the task, and then you're looking kind of at domain knowledge capacity, who's best suited to that particular challenge and how much support they might need. Is that a task for yourself, or how is that divided out?
You mean the assignment of the work to the team?
Yeah. So you come together as a team and you're deciding. Is it a strictly team decision, or is there something that you take a lead on?
So, yeah, first of all, the priorities are discussed with the stakeholders as we mentioned earlier, and then we discuss internally within the team who will be the best person to pick it up and what is the capacity. So in this meeting, we all already communicate our current work, what is pending, what projects are pending and how they are going, and then we discuss also who can pick it up. So it can be there. I can also point to the right person myself,
Right.
or it can be also a bit more open and discuss within the team who is available to pick it up. So we can have also topics that are new for specific analysts, and they want to learn this new area, for example, and they will raise their hand and say, okay, actually, I would like to pick this up because I haven't explored this area of the business yet. And it would be also a good opportunity for me to learn something new, for example. Or it can be something a bit more technical or more analytical that they would like to learn. And in this case, we discuss the approach, we give some direction, and we assign the task to that person.
Nice. I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit here. So, who do you think, or how is best to ask this? Is it better to use someone who has the domain experience and has done it before, or maybe someone not as senior and not as experienced, but has a lot more passion to learn that area?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question, I would say. But it always depends on the urgency. So if it's something super urgent that we don't really have time to delay, then I think that the more senior experienced person will be best to pick it up. But if it's something which maybe is not that urgent, we have some time to explore, experiment, and learn, then I will give it to the person who wants to learn, because it's always good to have broader. So the skills should be evenly distributed, ideally, within the team.
Yeah, nice. I think it's a good way, and it's good that you give the opportunity when you can to someone eager to learn and develop. Because sometimes that they look at things a little bit different, and we can learn from them as well. So
That's a good point also, yeah. So maybe the person who hasn't done it before might be seeing things from a different perspective as well. Yeah, you're right. And maybe they will bring some new ideas that we didn't think before also.
I think it's something, I can't remember the phrase, it's something bias, whereas when we are educated and know a certain thing and direction, we have our blinkers on, so that's the only way it can work. And sometimes fresh ideas, and I think cross collaboration, I think remote work has also helped that as well, and multicultural and multi-experienced teams, that we are looking at different ways of seeing things and tackling problems. And off that, you have team members and knowledge sharing. So collaboration sounds like it's a very key part to day-to-day business. So how does that look in your team, the efficient collaboration between the different teams?
Yeah, I would say collaboration is a key, especially in analytics team. So first of all, we have the collaboration with our business stakeholders. So working together to define the analytics roadmap, to understand a bit better the problems they have, and work with them to solve the problems. And on the other hand, we also have the technical teams, maybe other analytics teams. So in this case, also when we build the analytics roadmap, we see any dependencies that we may have. So we may have a project, for example, that we need to do an analysis with data that we don't have yet available. So in this case, we have a dependency on a data engineering team, and we need to collaborate with them in advance, so they have the data for us when we have to do the analysis. So we can meet the deadlines for our business stakeholders. So in this case, it's very important, I will say, to communicate our roadmap with other engineering teams. So identifying the dependencies and communicating them with the relevant stakeholders, our roadmap. And also working with them to include it in their roadmap also, because I'm sure that they always have their own priorities. They are trying to build their own roadmap, their own plan for the year, for example. So it's important to include it and consider it for us. So we usually have also regular meetings with our close stakeholders, the engineering teams, to communicate our plan and make sure that we have good collaboration, good communication. Maybe, for example, we can do on our side some analysis on raw data and indicate exactly what metrics and aggregated tables we need. And then the team can, based on our analysis, to take this requirement and build a data pipeline for us, for example. Also, in terms of, so especially in big organizations, we have multiple different analytics teams. So I will say collaboration with these analytics teams is also very important. So with other analytics teams, it's important in different aspects. So first of all, it's important to know what they are working on. So we make sure that we don't have any duplication of work, or maybe they are working on something really interesting that we can also utilize from our side. Or even we can learn best practices from each other. And that's why I would consider a really good idea to have regular knowledge sharing sessions with the analytics teams, to share what they are doing, to share their experiences, any challenges they might be facing, what they learned, for example, or even just share a new technology that they learned recently, a new programming language or something like this. So in this way, we always keep it interesting. We learn from each other, and we adapt best practices from everyone.
Nice. And you've had experience as a data engineer and working in an analytics team, analytics dedicated team. Who would you say is better at knowledge sharing, the engineers or the analysts?
That's hard to say. I will say it depends on the culture of the teams. Both can be and should be sharing knowledge as much as possible, because the technologies are changing all the time, as you know. So we have new technologies introduced, new tools, new ideas always. So it's important to share knowledge, either if they are engineering teams or analytics teams.
Very diplomatic. I like it. I like it. Perfect. Well, time has flown. It's been an absolutely insightful conversation. So we're going to wrap it up with a final question. I think it would be valuable to people listening, especially those maybe starting out their journey within analytics. So what should someone who's working or wanting to work in analytics be focusing on to help them advance their career? What's relevant right now?
Yeah, I would say that also for me, I haven't done any technical degrees. So I did business degree, and then when I did my first job, I realized how important analytics are and data to the business. And this is where I decided to shift. So I basically started from scratch learning analytics. So in general, I would say someone needs to be very curious and be able to learn continuously. Technical skills are very important, of course, to know SQL, Python, different BI tools, data warehousing, and so on. But also something which is really, really interesting is to have the soft skills. So communication skills, to be able to translate the business problem into an analytical problem, and also to share the results with the stakeholders in a way that is understandable for them, taking aside the advanced analytical methods used to be able to explain it to the business in the right way. It's quite important. So I would say communication skills, even storytelling is really, really important.
Amazing. Yeah, storytelling comes up time and time again, and the power of storytelling is proving invaluable. Well, you've taught us a lot today. We could go on for longer. I think these topics lead quite nicely to maybe a future podcast, and we would love to have you on again on the future. But that's all we have time for today. Thank you very much for your time and your rich insights, Konstantinos. It has been an education for us all. As always, drop us your questions and feedbacks in the comments section. We'll pick out a few to be answered on the future pods. Don't forget to like and share so we can reach as many people as possible. But thank you, Konstantinos, and ciao for now.
Have a nice day. Bye.